Good morning.
Happy Twin Tuesday.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Dr. Johanna.
Dr. Madeline.
And we are your awesome chiropractors at Atlas Chiropractic Center in sunny St. Pete, Florida.
Sunny St. Pete, Florida, where we're Family Wellness. Our jam is pregnant and postpartum mamas.
Yep.
As you're hopping on today, drop some emojis, say hey. If you're catching a replay, drop replay down below as well, so we make sure we don't miss you. We appreciate all of you who tune in today.
Yes.
We want to talk about a topic that I think, and I'm not even a mom, but I think it is not discussed enough. So what are we talking about today?
I mean, I think that we're talking about the way that we should not shame or guilt ourselves.
Mom guilt.
With anything mom related. So yes, mom guilt. And I mean, I know I can speak true to this because I'm pretty hard on myself as a mom, and I think a lot of women are, and there's a lot of expectations that are set by unrealistic people that have set these high expectations and boundaries, and we should just kind of like be done with that, you know?
Yeah. Mom guilt, because it's there, it's real. I know y'all struggle with it. I haven't had babies, so I don't fully, understand 100%. But if you're sitting and you're tuning in and you're like, but why would chiropractors be talking about this? Because in our practice, we talk to our moms about mindset and about boundaries and about how to, it's general wellness, right? So your mind and what you're thinking and your beliefs are really, really important to your life and your success of your health. Like, it's really important to have good mind health, to feel supported, to not beat ourselves up and things like that. So
yeah, and I was just going to add a little tidbit to that, because the more stressed that we are just in our everyday life, and that can be because we're putting too much pressure or have high expectations that we're not fulfilling, it can affect your body's ability to heal. It can slow down that process. It can make you feel crappier. It can make you feel more of the pain that you may have, and it can be worse than what it would be if you weren't dealing with these things. So, and that goes hand in hand with what we do here in the office.
Yeah. So I feel like too, kind of like understanding where like beliefs come from. Usually, like when we're growing up and we're kids, we're typically learning our belief patterns from our role models, such as like our parents who are raising us, really important people in our lives. The cool thing about being an adult is we now get to realize maybe old belief patterns that we have because we were raised with them. If we don't like them, we get to change them, which is pretty cool, because your beliefs are what's going to influence your environment, which is going to influence like how you feel about your life and your happiness and those type of things. So I think as a huge scale, we can talk about shifting mom guilt and put it in and slowly kind of coming away from that old belief pattern and working on that. But one, it has to be talked about, and we have to give you some tools and for you to recognize and know that like ultimately like you have action, you can create new beliefs. You don't have to continue that like you're supposed to be this perfect mom. And again, I know easier said than done because I don't have a baby at home. I'm not raising any kids right now. And I know social influence is huge on this, which we're going to talk about a little bit. Social media is great. And it's also just not as good at the same time, I guess.
If you're having a bad mom guilt day and you get on social media, for me, it's like...
Right. 100%, right? But let's just like put out there that nobody's fully putting their stuff fully out online that shows all their struggles. I know there's some people who do a better job of just being real and being like, look, life's hard today, da-da-da-da. No matter what, if you think that mom's baby isn't keeping her up at night, that the baby feeds awesome all the time, that they don't have any problems, it's just not true.
No, I mean, because everybody teens and has an off day, and 100%. It's just the reality of
Adults have off days. Baby has off days. Like,
and when your adult off days fall on the same days your baby's off days, man, it is like the perfect storm.
Right. So, what's some advice or some things that you notice that might help?
Well, I do want to talk about what I notice and what can help, but I also want to just like highlight, so if you are someone that wants to support a mom in this, like where are some of these things coming from? And I think a lot of topics deal with weight loss, losing the baby weight and getting back to your pre-baby body. I think it's keeping everything together and doing all of the roles that you had before the baby and keeping everything done in a orderly fashion, and now you add a baby or a child in there and it like completely makes it so much more difficult to complete within a timely manner. And I think a lot of that is like how we respond as a tired mom to different scenarios and how bad we could feel about our response, because we're just so tired a lot of times and it's hard to be the best person possible. So these are some things that your mom friends are dealing with, even if they're not talking to you about them. And probably, I mean, additionally, there's way more. Those are just like some of the top ones I know. And that's a lot of the top things that I see posted on social and different things like that. So those are just things to look out for. We talk a lot about rehabbing and a more conscious, I would say, or an intentional effort postpartum with fitness and exercise, because there is this huge belief pattern that moms have to bounce back their bodies as fast as possible after growing a human and bringing human earthside. And some of the ways that moms feel like they have to go down that path and the time frame they give themselves for those changes are so short and small that is not necessarily done in a way that will support the mom mentally, physically, for long term, or any of those things. And we've had this narrative for way too long, so we do talk about this quite frequently, because unless we talk about it, we're never going to change the narrative. And the narrative have to change. Like, you grew a baby, which takes a lot of resources, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and you brought baby earthside. It is just an unrealistic expectation, I think, just emotionally feeling as a mom, that you're now supposed to be back to where you were before baby in like 3 to 4 months. You're not the same human. Right.
You're not.
And I think if we can accept that and like give ourselves some grace as moms, that would give like a huge relief, because I don't fault anyone that is able to bounce back and to do those things. I admire that. If that's the path and what you want to choose and you feel, and that's your good decision, it sits well with you. I can say for me, I'm 9 months postpartum, and I'm just now getting back into a workout routine that resembles anything to what I was able to do all the years prior before a baby. 9 months. So that doesn't mean my body's back. It doesn't mean my strength and stability is back. In fact, workouts kick my tush these days when I do them, and I have a lot of soreness and the muscles are relearning and everything like that. And that's 9 months, and that's my journey, and that's for me. But like, if I constantly listen to all the expectations put out there and people shaming me and saying I should have my pre-baby body back and that kind of stuff, like, that's just not reality. And it's not that I don't get caught up in those things sometimes. Absolutely. Like, sometimes I am down that I can't do the things I used to be able to do in the amount of time as far as fitness and things go. But I feel stronger. I feel more like I'm getting back to something comparable, and it's feeling good.
Yeah. And I think a good part to mention too, because you chose to intentionally rehab and move through these last 9 months, like, you're not leaking or peeing with exercise. You're not having pain with exercise and those things, which means she had to build a really strong foundation postpartum, which takes time to do, but it sets her up for more success in the future. It sets her up to be able to lift heavier if she wants to lift heavier, to do things for a longer endurance, or without that increased risk of injury by just pushing through and doing something too soon.
And that is hard to battle your mental ability to want to do those things, like either you were able to before, or because that's what you feel like you should be doing, versus what is the smartest move for you right now and what you are capable of doing, and molding that thing. Because before I would be like, yes, I want to do power cleans and I want to do all these burpees and I want to run all in the same day, and that's not best for everything sometimes. And I have to adapt to that, and that's just talking about like fitness and exercise. So there is like a huge part of that.
It's all cyclical, but what I want to say too is, you said like 9 months. Like, the reality is it takes you about 9 months to grow a human before a human comes earthside, which is amazing. We don't think about it as much because a lot of the healing that takes part postpartum is inside, so it's easy to forget about that. It's still there and still happening. it takes at least 9 months for our bodies to restructure to what they're going to be postpartum as well. There's soft tissues in there that, like, when you come to the office and we're adjusting you during pregnancy, that are also changing postpartum. That's taking about 9 months to heal and get back to where you're going to be moving forward after baby. So just have that in mind as well, because again, we can't see it or feel it, so we forget that we're still healing in that process.
Yeah, I think that's amazing to report, and I know this is definitely more your jam because you've done the research and stuff on it, but in addition, like if you're a breastfeeding mom and you have to consider all the changes and fluctuation in hormones that happen throughout that time frame, and depending on when your cycle comes back and different things, I mean, all of that plays a massive role in how your energy level is, how your body's going to respond to exercise and weight loss, and it's this very orchestrated, beautiful dance that can happen. But not many of us even understand that that's going on internally, to how to respect that and meet our bodies where it's at, so we get the benefit. Because for some people, it may not be going out and running that 10 miles that you desire. It may be at this part of your body in this part of the month, the best thing to do is yoga or something different.
Across the board, as we don't talk about this at all, which is so interesting to me, because women are so different than men, yet we train just like men, and all the research is done based off of men. It's not based off of women whose cycles change over essentially a 28-day period. That is really different through pregnancy and different through postpartum, especially if you're breastfeeding and your hormones, you're not ovulating yet, which is a really key important bump in hormones that changes throughout your cycle as well. So there's certain movements or intensities and things that are better during certain times of your month, and especially postpartum. That's a huge consideration to take in. But to know that, but that's powerful if you understand that and you choose that you want to move forward to exercise more in that mindset with that intention and your changes that come along with that. And if you want to know more information, we can definitely talk more about that. So it's just a quick dip in there, because I know we've just talked about fitness. So we want to talk about a few extra things. I know before we get too far into your day.
Hey. You can go on back.
We'll be back there in a second.
Right?
Yeah, we're doing well. Yep.
So I think too, let's talk about if like you're just having that down day, which you're gonna have.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have, right? You're just down day, and then you hop on social media and you go further down the self beating up mode.
Girl, put your phone down.
Lay a boundary. If you're even if it's a friend that you're following, and anytime you see their post right now, it's just like putting you in a downward spiral. Lay a boundary. You can unfollow them or hide them for a bit, and there's nothing wrong with protecting you during this time. It is the most important thing you can do right now.
Yeah, and it's just because you want to surround your things with things that help promote and fuel you. And when you are having a bad day because of whatever, I mean, there literally could be a million reasons, especially when you're a mom, seeing those posts can make you feel way worse, and then you just keep scrolling, and it may be best just to take a day, unfollow, whatever you need to do to get your mind right and to focus on the things that really matter. Because for me, it is very difficult to see some of those things. I'm like, I don't have my stuff together, and then look at all these people, and blah, like that's my reaction to it, and I just put my phone down.
Yeah, and give yourself grace. I think easier said than done, but having tools that you are able to do, I think I've learned it from somewhere about doing what's like your queen behavior if you can. So like something that you knew and prior to getting pregnant that like you would do that just like you love to do, that just brought you home to yourself. Like for some people it's gardening, for other people it's exercise, that type of thing. So I'm finding where it works with you in your postpartum realm, and try to just do that for even like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Something that just brings you back to yourself. And most of the time I'll tell you it's not scrolling through social media on your phone. Put your phone down.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's a big factor to it, it is.
Yeah. So I think more than anything, we just wanted to open up the discussion today to let
you're not alone.
To let you know you're not alone. Even when you feel like you're alone, like there's there's so many moms out there that definitely struggle with the same things. And I think it just depends on the day and what's going on in baby's life and your life and all that stuff.
We want to come from it as a safe space that if you are struggling and you're here or you need someone to talk to, like we are here to listen, because I think a lot of times like we don't share the bad parts of it, not because we don't want to always be negative, but because of mom shaming, and that's a real thing too. And you have to do what's right for you and your family at that time and period, and we're never going to be 100% right and correct and doing it the way that everyone else do, but you have to do what's right for you. So we're a safe space. We're here to let you know that it happens.
If you just need somebody to talk to,
we will listen.
Reach out to us.
And if you need some advice and it's warranted, you asked for it, we will try our best.
Yeah, I think it's okay too to, as you're going through this and if you're at a point that you're just more aware of some of these belief systems that have been placed on you but that you don't want to accept, then it's okay to stop accepting them. It's okay to restructure and rebuild your beliefs, but knowing that sometimes it can be a little challenging when your beliefs aren't the same as we would say majority of society and what you're being sold to. But know that like there's other people out there that like if you are interested in that, like we absolutely support you. We're here if you are really struggling. We just want to talk about it to bring more awareness to it and to let you know that you're not alone.
Nope.
We get that. We see you. We're holding space for you. Sending out all the love to y'all.
Yeah,
awesome. So
we'll see you next week. Bye.